Hello, lovelies. I'm back. This is Kimberly Purpose, and welcome to my channel. This is part 2 to my video about cultural appropriation. I wanted to apologize about not being able to record the whole thing. For some reason it cut off on me, and I wasn't able to get to the other part. But I wanted to continue. I was trying to make it be a full video, but it didn't happen that way, unfortunately. But I wanted to finish this article about Bustle from Bustle.com. And I left off the part about the on the music industry. I wanted to read this last paragraph about appropriation when it comes to music. It says here, the problem often lies in the fact that whether it is the artist's intentions or not, certain looks and sounds are automatically deemed more palatable by society when played on or by someone who is great. In the examples mentioned above, it celebrates bronze or Asian culture minus the presence of bronze or Asian people. So I was just talking about the music and how it's oftentimes culturally appropriated, with the culture. In the past, I said during the 40s and the 50s, 1940s, 50s, and 60s, it was not common. It was not uncommon for Grey Caucasoids to take the same music that was created by Aborigines and had Grey Caucasoids singing the same music and making money off of it and stealing the lyrics and stealing the rights from the American Aborigines. But anyway, I wanted to stroll further down. I thought this was neat. It says chopsticks in hair as a celebration of Asian culture. And this guy who's on Twitter, this is a Twitter post, Brian Boyd, he says, you get all these gray people putting themselves chopsticks in their hair like props. Little they know they mean death in the family. I said, wow. See, it means the death. And that's what we're talking about. Some of the stuff that Gray Caucasian do when they take cultures from other minority groups, they don't understand the deep-rooted meaning behind a lot of the culture. The meaning behind what we do, the actions, and such as the music, the hair, and everything. This section down here talks about the hair culture. And he gave a perfect example of, doing certain things to your hair and not understanding the true meaning. I was reading an article in Essence magazine. It was a person who did a commentary. And this individual was upset about how, with the dreadlocks, they say that when Gray Caucasians put dreadlocks in the hair, they just say, oh, it's just hair. It's just a style that you just do in your hair. And they just do it just to be doing it. But it really has deep-rooted meaning for us as American Aborigines. And I'll go into that a little bit later. But let's continue. It says, in addition to the stereotyping, Asian culture is also culturally inaccurate. Hair sticks used in many countries are not the same as chopsticks. Some have likening use chopsticks as the hair accessory to putting a fork in your updo. As Emma Roberts learned during the 2015 Met Gala, chopsticks as a meaning to celebrate Asian culture are both culturally inaccurate and reducing Asian culture to a singular stereotype. You see, this is another example of how cultural appropriation affects other minority ethnic groups besides Caucasians. Then it says down here, the Bendi's headdresses and other music festival trends. Before going, and this is from Cole Prouse. It says, before going to Coachella, make sure you figure out what imagery percent Native American you are. Otherwise, you may have nothing to talk about. Wow. See, this person, this minority, is another example of people are getting upset about the predominant society, stealing cultures and not having understanding the spiritual meaning behind these different cultures, because it's significant. It may not mean anything to you, but it means a lot to the minority groups. It says cultural appropriation and music festivals like Coachella can be seen in decorative bindis, headdresses, henna, and other accessories deemed exotic or trendy. This is another example of cherry picking parts of culture, thus leaving them devoid of their original intent. And it says down here, let's look specifically at Native American headdresses, a trendy accessory. In addition to reducing Native American culture, of which there were hundreds, to a single stereotype, this removing all content to why headdresses are significant is also just very on the nose, giving other things that have been stolen from Native Americans. For instance, America. Now, America was not just stolen from Native Americans. This is a misnomer. It was stolen from the Aboriginal Americans as well. It's not just them, but it's also us as well as American Indians. The AKA American Aborigines. It was both of us, because it was more than just one ethnic group that was here in the Americas during the ancient times. They oftentimes neglect to forget the original people, which were the Aborigines. And every chance I see that, I try to correct it to educate everybody to the true meaning of American history, especially here in the United States on the East Coast. We were already over here. But anyway, I see what they're talking about with the cultural appropriation, and it's true. Now, I'm going to also mention, I don't think it's mentioned here in this article, they mention the braids, but here it is, looks that borrow black hairstyles, and that's what we're talking about all the time. And I was talking about the dreadlocks. I know some people are going to try to dispute me on it, but dreadlocks originate from Africa. I don't care regardless as to what other people say. I'm going to show you all. Let's jump over here to the CNN. I saw this article. I'm going to scroll down. Oftentimes, American Aboriginal, a lot of times, this is video about this black girl, this Aborigine girl who's upset about this gray caucasoid wearing dreadlocks. And the reason why she's upset is because, some people say, oh, she's just upset because it's currently happening. Cultural appropriation is a problem for us that goes back centuries. It's not just, just now we just upset. We are upset because it stems from centuries ago, from colonization. Since the Great Caucasus stepped their foot here into the Americas, it has been a deep-rooted problem for us. And one of it is the dreadlocks. Dreadlock is a traditional look that stems from Africa. Okay, and down here, they said here, historians, and this is what they tried to justify the Great Caucasus was wearing our hairdo, but I'm gonna correct this. It says historians and anthropologists have found evidence due in ancient Egypt, Germanic tribes, Vikings, Pacific Islanders, early Christians, and Aborigines in New Guinea, as well as Somali, Gala, and Maasai, and Ashanti, and the Fulani tribes of Africa. So what they're trying to say here is that, all cultures had dreadlocks. But the problem with this is, yes, all cultures, a lot of cultures are using dreadlocks now, but the original people, the AKA, the Africans, okay, were the first ones to wear this look. And it came from Egypt. And Egypt goes way back, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. Great Caucasoids were not in Egypt. Egypt is a part of Africa, and Africa is a black continent. It's a bronze continent, a people of color, melanated. It's a melanated continent, and it always was, and always will be, till now, of course, because people, you see more Europeans over there now, and it's due to colonialism, but they weren't there originally. The original people were melanated people. I did a video about how they had stolen the identity of Nefertiti and putting a Great Caucasoid up there, trying to culture appropriate and try to say, oh, we were here. And this is what they're trying to do with these hairstyles. Egypt was the first, and it's the oldest and the most ancient culture. And let's debunk this theory about Germanic tribes and the Vikings. Okay? You look here. I'm going to scroll down here on this article. I'm going to bring you all along. Let's debunk this thing. The Vikings, the earliest period raids of 790s was the Norman conquest of England. Okay? Commonly known as the Viking Age of Scandinavian history. So their history sort of originated around 790 AD. Okay? That's after Christ. No, not AD, but after Jesus Christ. Okay? That's not BC, AD. Let's go back over here. Look at this again. Egypt was dated in BC time, which was before the Germanic and the Vikings. All right? And it predates Christianity. Christianity is the time frame when Jesus Christ was born. Okay? Egypt was black. And then if you talk about the Greeks, that's another thing they try. Oh, Greeks. Egypt predates Greek history. All right? So if Greek, and then the people who lived during Greek times said that the Egyptians were black. They saw them with their own eyeballs. So they were melanated people. All right? And on the walls, there were dreadlocks. And on those walls, they were people of melanated skin. Great Caucasoids were not over there. Not even the gray pale Arabs were not over there. All right? During that time period. That was before y'all came over. So, Africans, the black, I hate saying black, bronze colored people of Africa, people from the Sudan and Somalia and the Ethiopians were more likely the Egyptians, okay? Those are the original people. That's who they look like. They drew them on a wall with melanated skin, not pale skin. They were not pale, all right? They were not Arabic. All right, because Arabs are related to the Great Caucasoid, so the Great Arabs, all of y'all related to the Caucasus Mountains and all of that. Y'all were not there during that time period. So the Aboriginal, the indigenous people of Africa, the melanated people were the ones that created the dreadlocks. So and that predates all of y'all. Okay, all. And since it predates you all, and they are the creators of that style, and it's already been proven through anthropology, okay, dreadlocks comes from the Africans, okay? That's a fact, and I'm sorry. Y'all have an issue with that. All right? And it came over to us because of the Aborigines, who are also related to the Africans. Okay? So that's a traditional look that comes from us. All right. And so y'all need to give homage to the Africans, the melanated race, the bronze colored people every time you wear that look. All of y'all, because y'all came after, and it's not something that y'all created. All right. Yeah, y'all wear it now, but you can't, it's an ancient, and then if y'all try to throw the Indian, the Bible that y'all say, that still came after the Egyptians, predates all of y'all. And so that's my point. Okay. And that's all I have to say about that. And the Vikings, and I quickly debunked the Europeans being, so y'all did not have dreadlocks, because the Vikings were around the 700 AD. That's after Christ. Okay. That's not BC. 80. And so y'all, I'm sorry, but dreadlocks did not come from the it did not come from the Europeans. Okay. And so y'all are definitely cultural appropriating when y'all wearing that style. And y'all are. And so, and this is what this lady was saying with the dreads, with the braids. Now they're talking about the braids. Braids is also an African tradition that we do. We have to wear it because of our hair texture. And it just makes more sense for us to wear it. But it's a part of our culture, and y'all should give, and they should give homage to the people of color for that hairdo, not gray Caucasoids. I know they want to, and I think they want to claim that as their roots because they want to claim themselves as being indigenous here, because they saw some people, some of the remains of the people with dreadlocks in the Americas. But I'm sorry, those are Aboriginals, okay? And that's our people, my people. And it says here, it's the much larger demonetization of Black women's natural hair texture. And I agree. And it's not just Black women's, Aborigine men as well. Aboriginal women and men. And then let's go stroll down. It says, from baby hairs and box braids worn by white gray models on the runway to tutorials on how to achieve afros with gray hair. See, trying to steal the afros now. So because they want to claim that look. And the reason why they want to appropriate that, because they want to put themselves in these indigenous places that they weren't even in existence then. They were in the caves. They were in Europe. Okay, it has nothing to do with them. You can't steal people's culture and history and think it's okay. We are not going to tolerate. We're going to call y'all out on it. All right? It should have been called out a long time ago, but with slavery and all the discrimination. But now we're going to put our foot down. We're going to call y'all out on the hypocrisy. And it says, Black culture is often appropriated in the name of fashion. Exactly. Aboriginal culture is always stolen for fashion. Okay. And they also trying to do the dreadlocks the same way. But, trying to say, oh, it's still originated from Africa. I'm sorry, you guys. Egypt is a part of Africa. I'm sorry, but it's fact. And Africa predates all of y'all. Case closed. You're cultural appropriating, okay? Period. And it's not hard to just admit that the original motherland, people from the motherland created this look, okay? And we're just using it. Our ancestors are just borrowed the look from the Africans. And that's all we ask. Recognition and acknowledgement. Just like all the stuff that you plaster for your stuff that you created, we expect the same in return. It's just a respect, mutual respect. And it says here, the primary problem lies in the fact while Aboriginal women receive cultural repercussions like being fired from their jobs for wearing dreadlocks or braids, women who aren't Black can sport the same hairstyle and be praised being cool and edgy. And Zeba Blay writes in this piece for HuffPost, gray women are able to wear Aboriginal hairstyles without the stigma of actually being Aborigine. Exactly. They just do it, fly by night and everything. And then I want to also mention too, people don't take to understand the meaning of the dreadlocks. And these dreadlocks have a spiritual meaning, just like the Asian guy who's talking about the chopsticks in the hair. Dreadlocks have a spiritual meaning, and it means a person trying to be closer connected to God. That's one meaning. And different cultures we have different cultures within the melanated race, and it has different meanings. I know some people, for some people, spiritually, it means wisdom. I heard of that. And then is another reason, meaning is starting anew or rebirth. Like the cutting of the braids. I know it's one lady, I think she's from the islands. I'm not sure if she's from the islands or not. She was telling me that she cut her dress off because her mother died. And then she let them grow out after she had a time to grieve. And she just let her dreads grow back out. And some cultures believe that you cut off your hair. I know some African cultures believe you cut, when a loved one dies, you shave off your head and you start anew. So there's different cultures for different meanings, but they're all spiritual when it comes to the people melanated race who use the original people who had created the dreadlocks. These meanings are deep, and some people believe that the hairs in the dress makes you be closer to God, and so it has a spiritual meaning behind it. And oftentimes, gray Caucasians don't realize that. I know my son mentions one guy, there's a white guy who had dreads. He told my son that dreads are just dreads, don't really have much of a meaning, just means being dreaded or dread, and I'm going, it's like they don't take the time to understand the significant meaning of it. So I always, for that hairstyle, it does mean spirituality and being closer to God. And a lot of people don't realize that, gray Caucasians don't even acknowledge that. They just put it on because they think it looks good. But it has a significant meaning. And we do it too because it's a protective style for our hair. Okay? It helps maintain moisture, because we don't have to put oils. And really, that's another reason why we do it. Gray Caucasians really don't have to have dreads because the hair produces own oils. They just do it just to be doing it. But it has meaning for us, and our braids has meaning for us. And we do it to protect our hair because our hair doesn't produce its own oil. So we use it as a way to protect our hair and allow it to grow. Okay? That's why we don't like wearing heated styles on our hair, trying to straighten it to fit our narrative, because it destroys our hair when we do it that way. And braids and dreadlocks is natural for our hair. It's what it helps maintain moisture for our hair and allows it to grow and allows our scalp to breathe. Okay? That's why we wear it. And it has a significant meaning behind it. It says here, from baby hairs to bob braids worn by gray models on the runway to tutorials to achieve afros with gray hair, black culture is often appropriated in the name of fashion. Exactly. The primary problem lies in the fact while Aboriginal women receive repercussions, we're discriminated against when we wear our hair. And wearing dreads and women aren't black can't sport the same hairstyle. But I think I pretty much read that part. And so it's like we're told we can't wear our own hairstyles that we created in the first place. That's indigenous and part of our heritage and culture. But it's all right for gray Caucasians to wear the same style. And then the problem with that is when they publicize in these fashion magazines, They get recognition for it, and then we get penalized for our own heritage. And then the next thing you know, 100 years from now, it's in books and everybody's saying, oh, Great Caucasoids created that. No, they did not. All right? They did not. That's our heritage. All right? And it says here, often used as a counter argument for Aboriginal women who wear blonde weaves or straightened hair. This, however, is more exemplified assimilation. Exactly. Than appropriation. Exactly. It's assimilation and it's forced down our throat. We can't even go to schools. You hear on news all the time about little girls can't go to school with their hair braided or in twists or locks because the school's talking about, oh, it's not clean, it's not neat, it's a part of our culture and it's part of our heritage, and we should have a right to embrace our heritage and culture. Great Caucasoids can come in there with their hair looking like it does. Nobody sit up there and harass them and not putting their hair in a certain hairstyle. They can come in there with their hair any kind of way. They can wear it this, straight or whatever style they have, and wherever it hangs down at is all right for them. And it's natural. Our natural hair is afros, locks, braids, and twists. Those are our natural hair, and that's how our hair grow. We should be able to wear our hair like we can naturally. We shouldn't have to change our hair and burn our hair out our head and fry it with chemicals just to please Great Caucasoids, okay? We shouldn't be able to embrace our heritage too, and it should not be appropriated by Great Caucasoids and where they making money off of it and getting credit for our work and for our culture, and then devaluing it by not even taking the time to learn the meaning and the significance of it and acknowledging it and giving praise and homage to where it came from. That's what we have an issue with. In culture where Aboriginal women are penalized for their natural hair changing it to look more like the dominant culture, in this instance, gray hair, is means for survival. Exactly. You can't get a job without them talking about, oh, you need to fry your hair. Perming and straightening our hair is very damaging. That's why it breaks our ends and make it very difficult for our hair to grow. You're telling us to burn our hair out of our head. How would y'all feel as Great Caucasoids? We tell you can't wear your hair the way it is, and we tell you to put some dangerous chemicals on your hair and tell you to go and put a hot iron all the time on your hair and burn it out, and constantly frying your hair to look like our hair. You wouldn't like that. You would have a problem with it, and that's what we have. We have a problem with it as well. And it says here, as Kat Blast states in her video on cultural appropriation, there is no longer pressure, that gray people go under to assimilate into Afrocentric beauty standards. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Nobody forces gray Caucasian to change their hairstyle. And I was telling you that that's